Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a question that just doesn't seem to add up. It's a paradox that affects billions of people. So let's get right into it. So here it is. How on earth can a planet that is literally 75% water be running out of it? I mean, think about it. Water's all around us, it's renewable, it's constantly cycling. So what's the deal? How are we facing a shortage? We see images of just complete abundance all the time. Look at this scene from Calcutta. A record rainfall brought the entire city to a halt. Water is just everywhere, flooding the streets. Looking at this, you'd think the idea of scarcity is just crazy. But then you see this, and we all know these images. Women in Rajasthan walking for miles, balancing heavy pots just to get clean water for their families. It's this daily, exhausting reality for so many people. The contrast is just, wow. And this isn't some isolated issue. The situation is getting critical. There's a prediction that by 2025, and that's right around the corner, nearly 2 billion people are going to be living in areas with absolute water scarcity. 2 billion people. So what is really going on? Clearly, it's not just about a lack of rain. The real reasons we're running dry are, well, a lot more complicated than that. It's really a perfect storm of factors. You've got over-exploitation. We're just taking too much too fast. We're using it excessively. Access to it is completely unequal, and on top of all that, you throw in a massive and growing population, huge industrialization, bigger and bigger cities, and pollution. It's a recipe for disaster for our freshwater. And here's something that's really key to understand. Scarcity isn't just about the amount of water you have. That's called quantitative scarcity. It's also about the quality of the water. You could have a river running right through your town, but if it's full of chemicals and waste, it's useless, right? That's qualitative scarcity, and it's a huge part of the problem. All right, so after independence, India had a big vision for how to tackle this. To manage its water and really kickstart progress, it looked to a huge, ambitious solution. And this quote from India's first Prime Minister, Jawaharlal Nehru, just says it all. He called dams the temples of modern India. He saw them as these incredible symbols of progress that would connect everything, agriculture, industry, cities, and launch the country into a new era. And these things were designed to do it all. Seriously, they were these massive, multi-purpose projects. They were supposed to provide water for irrigation, generate electricity, supply homes and factories, control floods, even create space for recreation and fish breeding. The whole shebang. They were seen as the key to everything. But over the years, that initial excitement started to fade. These modern temples started coming under some serious fire because, well, the reality didn't quite match the promise. And the difference was pretty stark. On the one hand, you had the promise of flood control, but the reality? Sometimes the dams actually triggered floods because of sediment building up. They promised to work with nature, but they ended up disrupting river flows and hurting aquatic life. And that agricultural prosperity? Well, sometimes it led to salinization, which is when salt builds up in the soil and basically poisons the land. And beyond all the environmental problems, there was this massive human cost that you just couldn't ignore. These huge projects forced tons of people from their homes, completely uprooting communities and destroying ways of life that had been around for generations. So, with all this pushback against the mega projects, people started looking for another way. And the amazing thing is, the answer wasn't some brand new technology. It was found by looking back to ancient wisdom. Yeah, this idea of harvesting water isn't new at all. It's a tradition that goes back centuries in India. I mean, we're talking about sophisticated hydraulic systems in the 1st century BC to channel river floods and giant artificial lakes being built in the 11th century. The knowledge has always been there. And what's so cool is how diverse these techniques were. They were perfectly adapted to the local environment. You had diversion channels up in the Himalayas, people harvesting rainwater from their rooftops in the deserts of Rajasthan, special channels to use floodwaters in Bengal. Each one was an absolutely genius solution. Okay, check this out. This has to be one of the most incredible examples. It's a 200-year-old system in Meghalaya that uses bamboo pipes to bring water from springs down to farms. But here's the amazing part. It's so precise, it's designed to deliver just 20 to 80 drops of water per minute right at the base of the plant. That is ecological engineering at its finest. And don't think this is just some quaint thing from the past. These methods are being used right now, today. In a village in Karnataka called Gendator, 200 homes have set up a modern rooftop harvesting system. The result? Each family can collect about 50,000 liters of rainwater a year. That's a real game changer. So all these examples, both old and new, they really point us toward a path forward. But it's a path that needs more than just clever engineering. It needs a real, fundamental shift in how we think about water itself. And that's where the focus is now. It's about changing behavior. It's about moving away from this mindset of endless consumption and toward an attitude of conservation and smart management. It's about giving communities the power to manage their own local resources. So that really brings us to the heart of the matter. What this all shows is that we're not really facing a crisis of scarcity. We're facing a crisis of management. And if that's the problem, then the solution isn't just out there somewhere. It's in the choices we all make. Which leaves us with a final thought. What does conservation look like for you?